There we go, and we're live, boys. How's it going? Welcome.
Good afternoon, good morning, good wherever time zone you are, good something.
Okay, let's go around the room. Time zone. 8 o'clock in Boston, 8 a.m. Boston. Fred, where are you?
I'm in the Canary Island, so I guess now it's close to 1 o'clock. Is that possible?
1 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock. What about you, Sonny?
I'm the same. I'm just gone 1 p.m. Obviously here in Plymouth in the UK.
Awesome. Well, we're back. Live show. Appreciate it. Fred, thanks for jumping in, man. Where exactly are you coming from? What are you doing?
So where I'm coming from, I took over the national head coach position last summer in Belgium, leaving Spain after 12 years. So it's long time in Spain, and just got this opportunity to do something different. We are now in Spain for a training camp with some of the national team swimmers preparing nationals. So we got nationals next week, which will be the second round of qualification for the World and European Junior for us, also very important. So yeah, just keep the ball rolling and just non-stop.
Nice. Tell us a little bit about Belgium. It doesn't get a lot of love internationally. Tell us where it's at. Who are kind of some of the players we should keep an eye on? Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, so I think they had a good history of winning medals, including Olympic champion. But it's kind of like up and down in Belgium. Some cycles, I guess, the best way to put it. So now we are in a cycle where, after the success that they had in 2016, we are going back and building the team again. We have a very strong young team of women. The girls are doing pretty good. So we already have some swimmers qualified for the European Junior, for the World. I really hope that next week we can also qualify the relays, the 4x2 female relay, the 4x1 medley female relay, and then maybe some boys also can step in. Right. So this is where we are building this team again. As I said, the women's team is stronger at the moment, but we have some amazing talent coming through, and some boys that can hopefully this year step up and think about the Olympics next year.
Nice. Give us a quick look around the pool again. Show us where you are.
Yeah, here we go. So this place is it's a club in Canary Island. I show you because it's
Canary Islands.
It's pretty special. So you got a 50-meter pool there. There are a lot of competition in this pool. Then you got a 25-meter pool right there.
Oh.
So you see now the members, they do a bit of a class. And then at the end, another 50-meter pool, 8 lanes. So it's a special place, very special place. Now, I'm going to show you also the diving facility. They have Olympic divers every 4 years. Look.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so
there's water everywhere.
Yeah, there's water everywhere. There's kids everywhere. This morning, there's small kids walking around. As I said before, like usually when you go to a camp, you like to be quiet, but this place is very active and there's a lot of activity and a big history. I think the club was created in 1936. Wow. So they have a long history about Olympians in diving and swimming. There's also some triathlon going on. So this is what you see now. It's what you have here every day. So that's why a lot of teams from the north of Europe come down to Canary Island to train and be under the sun. Very relaxed sort of lifestyle. Wow. So it's great.
Beautiful. Well, it's truly a live show. We're in India right now. We're in Spain. We're in England. We're in Boston in the USA. So this is a truly international show. Appreciate it. Sonny, a lot of swimming going on this weekend and pretty exciting stuff. I want to kind of talk a little bit about it, maybe get Fred's opinion on some of that as well. But where do you want to start, Sonny?
Well, I guess I could start in the UK because that's where I am and that's where I was. But we're in that sort of that time zone now where it's trials meets. As Fred said, he's got one of his sort of trial competitions coming up in Belgium. We obviously just had our British trials. Obviously, the week before was Canadian trials. So it's just that awesome time of the year where you get all sorts of fast swimming from all over the world. And the British Swimming Championships held in Sheffield. They were the sole qualifying meet for the British team for this summer's World Championships. They had some interesting criterias, especially considering halfway through the meet, British swimming changed their criteria from 8 discretionary picks to the point now they can just pick the entire team off of discretion, with the exception of some absurdly fast qualifying times that I think 5 qualifying times were had over the entire meet. They were that fast, most of them quicker than the British records, and the British records aren't slow. You know, we're a good nation, but there was a handful of picks to talk about, but I think the most special to me was a lad called Ollie Morgan. He swims at a university team that's not Loughborough or Bath, and he won the 50, 100, and 200 meter backstroke. 24.8, the third guy ever in British history to go sub 25. 53.7 in the 100 and 157 in the 200 to beat Brody and Luke Greenbank.
Ollie,
so he was my pick of the meet. The race of the meet was last night, the 4x200. 2 guys 144, 2 guys 145, and Matt Richards won the 200, having gone 21.9 in the 50, 47.7 in the 100, and he's the first person in history to go a 21.50 freestyle and a 1:44 200 freestyle, which I think is an absurd statistic when you really think about that range of speed.
Impressive, mate. Impressive. There you go. Congratulations on that one. That's a big one.
So yeah,
wow.
that's waffle. But I'm sure you guys have seen some of the results. Fred, did you see any of the swims that stood out to you? Or
yeah, well, I think you pretty much resumed the whole situation. The thing about the qualification time, the question that we can ask is, why do you do selection times, and if you don't use them? So it's a bit of a debate that we could discuss. But I guess when you look at the depth that British swimming in some events, because I think there's also, some up and down, there's things missing and things improving a lot. But you said, I think you said the 4x2, which actually was a 200 freestyle final, but there the 4x2 is looking unbelievable. So it is fast. That backstroke boy, I don't know him, but again from the 50 to the 200, big dominance. And British swimming, I used to watch in British swimming from 2004 to 2008. There is always swimmers coming up, always. And again, 1 year and a half before the Olympics, they are in a really good place.
Yeah, really good swimming. Yeah, interesting stuff. A lot of depth, which is cool, and it's good to see these guys out racing. So this is when are they going to select the team or officially announce the team, Sonny?
We should have something today. That's normally how it goes, and it hasn't been announced yet, or I've not seen it. But yeah, we should be on the cusp of an announcement very soon. To be honest, even with the weird policy, the team should be pretty self-explanatory. Like you get the FINA A cut and come top 2, you should still be okay. The only one I think they're going to fumble a little bit with is the men's backstroke, because obviously we've got Luke Greenbank, who needs no explaining. He's a world medalist, an Olympic medalist, and he comes 3rd in the 200 backstroke. And I feel like somehow he might be on the team. I'm just curious as to whether or not the guys who beat him still are.
Wow, that'll be interesting. Fred, you've had a lot of experience here in this type of situation. Explain to those people that don't fully understand, why does a nation come out and put incredibly difficult qualifying times onto a championship meet like this?
It's a great question, Brett. I think if you allow me maybe 5 minutes, in my experience, the model of France, if I can explain that, back in the days, the French system, when they came back from the Olympics in '96, they didn't have a good Olympics, and they say, okay, what's the best way to change that? So they went to have some really tough selection policies. At that time, to be able to swim for France, you had to do a specific time in the morning, you had to do a time in the semi-final, right, and you had to do also a time in the final. So they started with an extremely difficult, tough selection policies. It was difficult. The French team went from, 20 plus swimmers to maybe 4 or 5. The 4 or 5 that would make it, they would go to the competition in the summer, European or world, and they would medal, because the level was so high that it pretty much mean that you are in the team, then you're going to get a medal. And then slowly, the coaches and me, I was a very young coach at that time. I didn't understand that. I was just I didn't have that vision that the technical director had at that time. So everybody was upset. Everybody was against it. But then you had to do, your job, and you had to deliver good coaching, and the swimmers were improving. And the whole French swimming did change, and then they went on to be successful at the Olympics every 4 years, and Manodou, and et cetera, et cetera. So this is a sort of a concept that for me was very interesting to think about. And I guess it's probably the only way that you have in a nation to raise the level of your swimming. If you raise the standard, you gotta do one way or another one. So the extreme is now, if you look at the selection policy for the British, and if they stick with that, maybe as you say, maybe there's only 4 or 5 swimmers, and you don't want that, because what you want is you want to bring the best team possible to the competition. So that the other side of the story is more like what they do. Well, in America, if you are top 2 every 4 years, that means that you can have a medal at the Olympics. Even the top 3 sometimes is swimming a time that you would medal at the Olympics, but it doesn't make the team, right? But the Australian trials change, and now it's closer to the competition. I think Spain next year will do also a trial, maybe 5 or 6 weeks before the main competition. And that gives you the guarantee that your team is going to be ready. If you swim fast a few weeks, a few months before the main competition, then the final preparation is going to be something very, very special. And I think that's what I like about the 2 philosophies. Have a try a long time ago, and then select your team and just focus on the preparation, or push it to the end of the cycle. But it's necessary. In Belgium, we have a window, what we call the window of classification.
Right.
The Dutch, they also do like a window of qualification. So they have from one date to another date, and then there you can select some competition, and you decide where you're gonna swim fast. If it's December, if it's January, if it's March, and then they select the competition. I think what we want to do for the Olympic next year is also have a big opening window, let's say from after the World, or including the World, to the European at the end of May. And there we select. So we can pre-select and then select the team before going to the Olympics. But going back to that time standards, maybe you can tell me, Brett, because I'm not too sure, but I think at one stage, Brazil at the top 3 or top 5 in the 50s, the selection was so difficult that they only wanted swimmers to go to the competition and be successful. So I don't know if they did really apply that. But the more demanding, the more, I guess, success you can have. You're going to miss some swimmers, maybe, but yeah, at the end you want to be successful.
I guess that's the idea. I guess that's the idea behind it. Yeah, make it more demanding. Take a team of people that are going to medal, then that will raise the standard for everybody else. And then the next time round, we'll have a few more people qualify, and then the next time round we'll have a few more, and then within a cycle we should have a full team going to the Olympics, and everybody has a chance to medal. That's kind of the idea behind it, I guess, right? So.
Yeah, I think so. And nowadays it's difficult because you have everything quick, and we don't have that vision. People are not patient, so it's quite difficult to explain that it's a long-term process. But it did work in France. They make a revolution, if I can say, with that system of selection policies. But I think that's also the responsibility that we have, us, the coaches, because you prepare a swimmer, you do like a 12-week cycle, it doesn't go that well, and the swimmer, I'm not going to make it well. Be patient, right. Maybe next year you're going to make it, and maybe in 3 years you're going to make it. And that vision is quite now difficult for us coaches to explain to the swimmers. Right,
yeah, different mentality these days. Sonny, what about yourself, man? You were at the meet, you had some swimmers. Tell us a little bit about how your kids went.
I only had one lad, so it wasn't a busy meet. But my lad swam a PB in the heat in the final. He made his first senior 100 breaststroke final. We're super happy with that. He swam a 62.1 in the 100. So he's got, again, like Fred said, it's a long journey ahead for him if he wants to start knocking on that British team. But he dropped 0.6 off his PB in that day alone. So enough of them, and you start going 61, 60 points, and then 59s. It's not an overnight thing, but you've got to have a little bit of a long vision with that. And yeah, we're really happy with that.
Nice, mate. Nice. Well, listen, you're on the pool deck too, and I know when you're on the deck, there's whispers that go around the pool deck. I don't know. I'm not really into whispers. I don't really care about them too much, but There is some word coming out about Adam Peaty and a possible change of scenery in the next for the next preparation. What's going on there?
I mean, we can, if we're not talking about whispers, he put on Instagram he's in Barcelona, and I know there's a British coach working in Barcelona right now with the Spanish team, and it kind of makes sense that maybe there's some sort of training camp going on, or there's going to be some time spent by Adam swimming in Barcelona and Spain and enjoying the weather that Fred's enjoying right now.
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you, Fred? Yeah, it's a good choice, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, look, I know Ben since many years. We share the British team together. We share the Olympics. He was the women's coach in 2008 when I was the men's coach. So, and it's probably if you have to pick one of the best, or if not the best coach at the moment, it's probably Ben Titley. It's just the success that he had and how he did turn around the swimming in Canada. It's just something that only Ben can do. So I don't know. Honestly, myself, I don't know if Adam is there in Barcelona visiting and going to see the football, the best football club in the world. I don't know. But maybe, if he does carry on swimming and he decides to swim with Ben, I think that could be a very interesting duo.
That's right. Well, there was more swimming going on around the world. Let's go to Japan because there was some pretty interesting stuff there. I'm not really up on Japanese swimming. I've always said this, like Japanese swimming is a little bit like Chinese swimming at times. It feels isolated because you just don't feel attached to it. Like, like I think a lot of Japanese swimmers stay in Japan, a lot of Chinese swimmers stay in China. So it's like you never really feel attached, but some videos come out. Obviously, the results are coming out. We're seeing some stuff. So, Sonny, what are you seeing from Japan that's coming out?
First of all, I kind of agree on your point. I watched the live stream, and there's like fast-paced anime music playing as the swimmers are racing. It's a completely different and bizarre experience. But they're super talented and they're super fast, especially in Fred, you enjoy the events. They're good at the 2-4 medley and the 2 flies. Like they are serious swimmers in them events. But I think if I just had to again pick one thing I've seen, is that Rikako Iki, the super talented lady, has finally made a world's team after her sort of defeat of leukemia. She fell ill as one of the most promising juniors ever, and she's come back. She's done this amazing, comeback story, and I think she's had problems actually making teams in the past because of she does a good 50 but doesn't meet a time standard like we've just talked about. She's hit the qualifying standards. I think she's going to get to swim the individuals 50 fly, 100 fly, 50 free, 100 free, if I'm not mistaken, some relays. And I'm super excited to see her again on the world stage. Yeah.
Fred, you keep your eye on Japan at all?
Well, I always, I'm a big fan of the Japanese culture. One day I would like to spend 1 year myself there, just be there.
Yeah.
Maybe be a coach, maybe an assistant of, some of the Japanese coaches.
Right.
I was very lucky because at that time when Nori used to go to altitude and the national Spanish team were in Sierra Nevada, we share a lot of training camp in altitude together. So I learned a lot from them, especially what they do outside of the water. The amount of land work that they do, Brett, is unbelievable. Like I'm not for a coach that is quite keen on his land work, but this is night and day. They spend a lot of time on land.
Mm-hmm.
And Sonny said the depth in the medley, in the butterfly. If you look at the breaststroke, 200 women, 200 men, the level is unbelievable. And the only thing that maybe I can add to that is swimming in Japan is mainly in school. So the kids, they swim in high school, and the competition in high school, that's the only place in the world you can have a world record in high school competition. So very impressed. And I think they like that we don't have a lot of access to them. Do you know what I mean? It's very, I don't want to compare to China. I have my own opinion about China, and don't ask me, please. But Japan, I think they also work really well within the country, and they don't want to share much. They don't need it.
Yeah. No, I got a mad respect for the way the Japanese approach their swimming and what they do, and really good performance. From my point of view, it's great to see 100 freestyler from Japan under 48. We got 47 47.8, 144.9 from Matsumoto. So, man, what a swim those are, and good to see a Japanese guy under. Is 48 now? Is 47 the new 48? 47 is the new 48.
Yeah, I guess so. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be like 48's so tough, 48's so tough, and now it's like 48's so slow. 48's everyone's going 47s these days. And speaking of 47s, the fastest time in the world was posted on the weekend, and I know everybody in the comment section is freaking out. Yes, Popovici is back, and we are all excited to see him back in action. Sonny, what do you think of David's swims?
So David swum a lot of races over the week. So again, it was like Romanian nationals. He started off with some backstroke. I think he even splitted a 54-second 100 backstroke. He set records, national records in the 50 and 100 butterfly, 23.7 and 52.3. He did say after the 52.3, it was his last race, and he went, "Oh, they say you don't get tired over these long week meets. You do. I'm pretty tired right now." And then also, amongst that, he went a 3:51 400 freestyle, which is not a PB, and he's been much quicker in his life. And I still think it makes more sense for him to be better at 400 if you'd want to be. I don't know. That's just a stab in the dark. But yeah, and then 47.6 on the 100, which is still really fast. And I think it's hard to forget that even last year at the World Championships, 47.5 won. Like just because we saw a 46.8 last year, 47.5 won the world title. So 47.6 is very fast. And, also Matsumoto 47.8, Matt Richards 47.7. We are starting to get a lot more guys around that mark.
Yeah. It looks to me like David is still pressing on this back end. Like he's trying to be the first man under 24. I know we're real close to that. And it seems like that's his strength. He still does have that front end weakness. It's not something that he's putting a lot of time and energy into developing, it looks like, but it looks like we're still trying to get that 23-second back end. Fred, as a swim coach, what does that mean to come back in 23? Like, why is it elusive?
Well, I don't know if it is elusive, but it's crazy to think about it. And when you talk about the fly and the back and doing different events, and I'm pretty sure now, I'm thinking now that that's part of the plan, and maybe you're going to think, well, this is stupid, but if you do the one on the back, maybe that's how you're going to go under 24 on the back end speed, on the back end 50. If you do the fly, maybe that's the way to look for that under 24 in the second 50. Do you understand what I mean? So. Knowing just a little bit, the coach, Adrian, sometimes they come to Belgium, they do some video testing there in the pool where we work.
Okay.
For sure, there's a lot of thinking behind it. No question about it. It's not just, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Mm-hmm. And again, in my own experience, Brett, the fast swimmers that I had in freestyle, they were always pretty good in butterfly. And we would use the butterfly to improve the freestyle. So,
interesting.
That's just me thinking, right now with you guys. I imagine part of the plan is to use different strokes to improve that second 50.
I like that a lot. Wow. Okay. Very nice. What else, Sonny? What else was around?
Oh God, we're starting to get thin.
I think there's some other stuff out there. What else was in this little? Nate sends us a little document, by the way. That's what I'm scrolling through. Nate's got his little. What does he call it? His swim spam?
Swim spam, yeah. I'll put a link in the chat so people can see what we're going off of. Well, I've not opened it up yet. But, I've just thought about more British performances, but there was a 14-year-old girl. She turned 14 the day she won the 1,500 meters at the British Champ. So she medaled in some other races when she was still 13. But her 1,500 freestyle is I think the 8th fastest for a girl 14, but it's quicker, most notably than Katie Ledecky and Summer McIntosh was at that age. And, Summer McIntosh was no slouch at 14. I mean, I can almost assure you that. So, I think that's a super talented girl. She comes from a club program in Salford, so that's the Manchester area. Works with a coach called John Stout, who's been around for quite a while and has produced a lot of distance swimmers. I think he's got that more old school mentality of, work and creating them foundations early on. And this is a great sort of example of that.
What about your boy that you got all excited about on the weekend, Shymanovich? He popped some times, didn't he?
Yeah. Sorry. So Belarusian nationals happened as well. He went 26.2 in the heat of the 50 breaststroke and went a little bit slower in the final of the evening, and also went 58.4 in the 100. I think something cool that he done. I love people when they play around with tactics, but he split 30.7, 30.3 to go a 61 100 breast. So 30.3 on the back end. I think that's pretty cool. That was the day before he went to 58.4. And I know it's a more sour topic, but I think this is just part of his taper process. He's got Russian something this week. And look, I know I wouldn't want to be going to Russia right now, but he doesn't really have many options being a Belarusian native. And, I guess he's got to make the best of the current situation. One thing I do know about Ilya, he's super talented. He works super hard, but he does struggle to step up with the international meets because he gets nervous. And that's one of the things that he's still really working on.
Okay. There was some news coming out that the Russians and Belarusians are not allowed to compete at the World Championships. Seems like they're being put on the back burner. Fred, you're on the international scene. You got international athletes all around you. What's the general vibe from athletes in regards to the Russian athletes?
I think I would say, like my wife is from Belarus. I coach 3 girls for the Olympics in Athens in 2004 from the Belarusian team. So this is a place that I know very well. So maybe I'm not that objective, but in general, people would like to see the difference between politics and sport. And yeah, I guess that's what you were saying before. That's only that poor guy trying to compete and get back up to the top is I can easily say that he's a prospect for a medal next year at the Olympics, and he's struggling. So it's it's not fair, politics mixing with sports, and it's just I guess pretty sad. So my own opinion is that back home I have a wife who is from Belarus and is looking at a country. She won the gold. She was the first woman to be a world champion in 2003. The following year, a girl was world champion. A few months after on the track and field, the 100 meter was won also by a woman from Belarus. So it's a heartbroken situation. So I don't know.
Sad, just sad for everybody, really.
Yes, it is.
There's no winner on the sporting field when it comes to this. It's unfortunate in so many respects. And
I think not only there's no winners, but I think the one that lose are the athletes. And again, Brett, this is very personal, but my wife, she got a life somehow because of swimming. The first time she left Belarus in a minibus, she went to a competition in France, and they drove for 2 days. Sorry. Raced 2 days and then they drove back 2 days, and this is how she went out and started to speak a different language and meet people, and then she decided to move to France, and there's a lot of athletes in that case. So I think not only nobody wins, but there's a lot of people losing on a possible future.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and there was some Dutch swimming on the weekend. Did you guys see any Dutch swimming? My boy Renzo actually got second in the 50 free. Kenzo beat him. So Kenzo and Renzo went 1-2, 21.81, 21.88 in the 50 free. Looks like they got the qualification for the World Championships ahead of Tom de Boer. So that's kind of a little bit of an upset there, I'd imagine.
Is Kenzo representing Netherlands now, or is he still
Renzo?
Yeah. Is Renzo still? Is he representing Netherlands?
Kenzo beat him. He's Renzo.
Brett, stop it! Kenzo Simmons is Dutch. Renzo's from Suriname, right?
Yeah. He was originally from Suriname, but he's got that Dutch flavor. So he's representing the Netherlands now. Yeah, he's on Team Netherlands, I guess. So, but there was some Dutch swimming over the weekend.
Yes, they're just me being in Belgium, so we go a lot to swim in the Netherlands. They come to swim to Belgium, so this It's very close by. You just drive and can compete. And being a little bit closer to the team again, fantastic coaching. They go straight to the point. There's no bullshit going around in Netherlands swimming, and they keep improving a lot. Tess improving every time she swam. I think this year, short course or long course, she's improving. The 4x2 women is looking good. They've got a 156 leading off now. I think also they are number one in one of freestyle women. So overall, doing a great job, and it's very impressive that. I think at the moment it's probably the nation that swim fast most often during the season. So when I think about the Dutch now, I think about Katika Ansu. She was swimming all the time fast, but the Dutch, they can do that, which is very, it's very exciting to think about it, how they do that.
Yeah. Here's a little prediction here. I've got a stronger opinion on predictions these days. Maybe as I'm getting older, I've got stronger opinions on predictions. Like, I don't really care about times anymore, Sonny. I really don't care about times anymore. For me, it's about the competition. For me, it's about when they stand up behind the blocks and they look to their right and they look to their left, and it's man on man or woman on woman competing for that championship. That's what excites me the most. We had a competition on the weekend, an MMA competition, and it was just some of the greatest competition that I've ever seen between two people. Like two people get locked in a cage and they face off against each other. And there's some amazing storylines, and I'm not going to get into the MMA side of things, but just I love the fact that they're locked in a cage, they're looking at each other, and then that the bell goes off, and they have to then unite and compete, and whoever comes out on top is the ultimate winner. That's the way I'm starting to look at sport, more so than times. You know what I mean?
Well, we always have the lack of engagement that means that times ultimately does decide a winner. There's no rock paper scissors element in UFC boxing. If someone does that, then you can dodge or you can take it and respond. So it's almost like a rock paper scissors sort of on a much deeper level. Whereas in swimming, you can respond to how fast someone goes out, or you can just do your own thing. And that's why some of the best swimmers, one swimmer in particular actually, puts tape in his goggles so he can't even see the other guys, and therefore he is literally time trialing a race every time he swims. That? A sprinter.
Puts tape on his eyes, huh? Let's who knows in the comments section who puts tape on their goggles? Fred, you have anyone who puts tape on their goggles?
I never did in racing, but yes, we did in training, but for skills purpose and not for not racing time. Yeah, just for
that's Sonny.
Yeah, head position stuff. You can play around. You can play around with the vision. There's also one thing. If you do it well, you can get the two eyes to look at one point very small, and then everything around is just dark, so you can really maintain your head position. But anyway, not in racing. In training, we did a lot of that.
I want to delve more into some of the stuff Fred's doing actually, because this sounds like he's thinking way more than a lot of coaches, including myself, think.
Fred's listen. The reason why I bring Fred onto this show, Fred's one of the best coaches in the world. Like we're talking top 5 in the whole world. This guy is phenomenal. If anyone doesn't know enough about this man, this is one of the best coaches in the world right here, and he's doing incredible stuff, working with some of the best athletes in history. He just sent me some drills actually, and I asked him to put those drills up on Any Question. He's on Any Question. Sonny, you're on Any Question. We've talked about it a million times, but Fred's going to put some drills up on Any Question today. I'm going to help him with this, but some of the stuff that he's doing is so creative. I love it, Fred.
Thank you very much. I just what I've been doing for a long time, and I just love the fact that I can help these kids to reach their dream. You were talking, Sonny, about the 1500 the girl on that birthday. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. And then when I woke up, I think it was this morning actually, I saw that one of my ex-swimmers is still in top 4 in 1500. She was Claudia Daska. She was swimming the 400 medley. She qualified in the Olympics in 2012. She went 4:38, went to the Olympics. The month before she broke her. Now it's funny, but at that time it wasn't funny. But I said to Claudia when she qualified for the Olympics, I said, Claudia, please don't use your scooter when you go home after training. Just walk, take the bus, ask your mom and dad to drive you. So yeah. And then one day she was walking to the pool like this, you know. I said no. So she has an accident with a scooter, and then the Olympic progression was a bit off pace. But that girl, she's a doctor now. She works in the emergency center in Barcelona. So you know, when I went to the pool, I was looking at the tweet from, I think it was Swimming Science or whatever, and then I spoke to my swimmers. I said, look, that's a perfect example. You know, it's possible to be successful in life. It's possible to get education. It's possible to swim at the Olympics. So it was for me, it was great to be able to tell that story. You know, and that's really what you want to do. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for the word. Right, very kind of you. I just try to think outside the box. You know, using different equipment, as I say, and you know that for me, the swimmers, they are athletes before being swimmers. And I think when you look at that part of the, if you take your swimmer as an athlete, there's so much that you can do. So this morning they were swimming with, the fence that they use in fencing. Work on coordination for the entries, head entries, and I will show you the videos. But always trying to improve what we do on a daily basis.
I love it. Well, Fred's going to put those videos up on any questions. Speaking of any questions, this is Greg Bennett, one of the greatest triathletes in history. He's actually one of the founding fathers of Any Question. He's watching us right now. So, Greg, appreciate you jumping in the comments section. But, I love everything you guys are doing. Thanks for the support. Love the live show. Sonny will be back again next week. Get some sleep, man. You look just a little tired.
That's offensive. It's just the light. I'm just not in the sun like Fred. I need vitamin D.
Yeah, you do. We all need a little sun. Fred was so jealous.
I want to go hang out with Fred and watch some swords be swum with.
You should. When I was in the UK, Swetnam had studied. Well, that was before me, but he studied an offshore center in Australia. So the British athlete, they could go spend some time in Australia on the Gold Coast in the winter. And I mean, it's just a fact. When you swim outdoor, it's just everything. It's just easier, more relaxed, good vitamin. People don't get sick. The winter in Belgium or the north of Europe, it's tough. It's cold. It's grey. So this is why we travel quite a lot.
How cool is this though? Like, how cool is it? You're in Spain. Sonny's in England. I'm in the US. We've got people from all over the world saying good morning. Like, I just love this. I don't know. I don't know. We don't put much time and effort into creating this show. Nate does all the work in the background. Sonny and I just jump on and talk. Fred, I love that you're just on the pool deck. It's just, I don't know. I love everything about this. So appreciate it, guys. You guys have a great day, okay?
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot for having me.